to know everything that's happened at Universal Studios Orlando this week, including VelociCoaster previews, queue leaks, and Mardi Gras updates, even though it's May? Well, you're in the right place, for you're watching Wunu, your weekly Universal news and updates, where I go over all of those things in edits like these. But let's not blabber on for an intro and get straight into the video with my first topic. General news, where a large part of this topic has been taken up by the VelociCoaster. So this week, team member previews happened for the VelociCoaster on Thursday and Friday, and from these previews we got a look at the queue. The first tunnels led down to a circular room where the previously revealed Velociraptor statue is. We also saw that behind this statue is a mini recreation of the top hat from the ride, and it actually looks really cool. Now, details like medical checklists sit in the queue for the Velociraptors, just to give it some ambience, and also lockers are in the area of the ride. Each locker section is themed after a different dinosaur to help guests remember what locker their things are in. And something that's fun about these is that these lockers are actually two-sided, so when you leave the attraction, you get your things from the other side of the locker, making it a lot more efficient on the way in and out and making it less cluttered in the locker rooms. Also, fun posters referencing River Adventure, the VelociCoaster, the Pteranodon flyers, which actually shows the top hat in the background, which is fun, and Camp Cretaceous, a story seen on Netflix, and the posters labeled Coming Soon, are on the walls of the area. Now, these could be foreshadowing, as the River Adventure one has the Jurassic World logo on the bottom, and Camp Cretaceous could be a takeover of Camp Jurassic. However, it may be, it may not be. It could just be something for fun. Also, near the lockers, a test seat and bag test area are located. And just as the information, this ride is a bit more accommodating weight-wise to people than some of other Universal's attractions, if you need to know that. Also, Velociraptor and Cage animatronics are in the queue, and I know that's a bland name, but it's the best I could come up for them. And they are extremely impressive. They blink, breathe, and even move and shake the cages. Now, you just have to be impressed by that. These look like real Velociraptors, and it's awesome. That's insanely awesome. Also, we also saw an electronic window that shows the cars launching by and then the Raptor pack chasing after it, with Blue taking an extra second or two to sniff around, which you gotta love. Blue is a cool Raptor, he's the main protagonist, and he's the only one that's actually alive in the franchise, but obviously this ride is kind of biased towards him. Also, an extended queue off to the side of the entrance is also there and is covered by a simple awning. Extended queues don't normally have a crazy amount of theming, so it makes sense that this is like this. And it's not inside, but it's there just in case it gets too crowded, which it probably will once it opens. Also, photo kiosks were seen, and it has been said that the photo is on the second launch to the top hat. Plus, at the exit of the ride, closed merchandise booths were seen. Now, the proper exit of the ride is into the Discovery Center, and the gift shop was revealed. It has a VelociCoaster logos behind the registers, and a raptor at the entrance, which is actually a really cool looking model. Also, before the raptor, a sign that says "No! Feeding, flash photography, yelling" is located, and it looks like a Jurassic World sign that states the area of the VelociCoaster. If you saw Jurassic Park, you know that these look like the general signs that are around the area, and Jurassic World did something like this in their movies too. Finally, it revealed the courtyard area and the views it gives, which are all beautiful. It's amazing views of the island. Plus, some signage was out here just directing guests around. Now, all of this was announced by Universal themselves a little bit afterwards. They talked about the virtual window first, telling us that it rumbles to attract guests' attention. It also says things about the Raptors' grooming stands, not their cages, well, what I called cages, but they called grooming stands, saying that the guest will even be able to feel the breath of the raptors, which was not something that I saw anything about, but it could be something that's not there yet, or something that people just didn't talk about. And finally, the ride itself, saying you'll get near encounters with each raptor in the famous pack, which is Blue, Charlie, Delta, and Echo, which is really cool. It's a fun little detail. Now, pass holder previews were on Sunday, and the common response was that the VelociCoaster is amazing. A lot of people were saying it's up there in their favorite coasters ever, and it's good to know that this has been a success. However, of course, with pass holders being on the ride, illegal POVs were made. Now, I don't know if these are 100% illegal as a lot of the queue was leaked. However, I feel like the queue is different than the ride. I have not watched a VelociCoaster POV, and I do not intend to until its opening date, so I'm not going to talk about the ride. Now, it looks amazing from the queue, and if you want to watch one of these, you can just look up VelociCoaster POV, and it'll come up. However, I do not want to ruin it for myself, and therefore I am not going to watch it and not talk about them. Away from the VelociCoaster, Q1 revenue reports came out, and to keep it short, Universal's income has only raised 2.2% since Q1 of 2020, which they were partially closed for. I don't want to focus on bad news here, and obviously Universal's not going to be doing the best. They have limited capacity, they hit capacity all the time, and Mardi Gras definitely made them some money, but it's not going to be enough to boost this quarter to the sky. So, limited capacity, limited funds, everything's going to equal out to it being a little bit less, but it's good to know that it's going up. Also, social distancing markers were made smaller throughout the parks. Now, they're still 6 feet apart, but they're just made smaller. Also, they were removed in the parking garage. Now, some of these markers along in the parks were completely removed and replaced with decals in the pavement to make them more obvious. Now, I don't want to be mad at Universal or anything, but if you're trying to get people to social distance on these, I don't think they're going to. I think they're going to ignore them. But whatever they did, they did. That's their decision, not mine. Also, surveys were sent to people asking them how their lives and park visit was affected by COVID. However, it would then go on to ask if a trip to Walt Disney World was planned for the trip, and if a reservation was acquired for Disney World. Now, I don't really know why they did this. Like, Universal might be thinking of doing a reservation system like Disney's doing to see if they could do it, but I don't really know why they would need these answers. However, whatever they need them for, I hope it's a good cause. Finishing with some smaller things, Popeye and Bluto's Bilge-Rat barges had a delayed opening on Tuesday, and Forbidden Journey had a delayed opening on Monday, along with Hagrid's Magical Creatures Motorbike Adventure. Now, these are nothing huge, however, it's what I'm ending off the topic with, and on that note, we should probably transfer to the next one, as this one's been lasting for a bit. So, let's go ahead and take a look at what has been added and destroyed in the parks in my next topic. Construction, which is giving us the spectrum of things being built and demolished. So this week, Bruce the Shark was seen being driven on the highway, and later in the week, he would be returned for his photo op, only missing the ropes that are meant to tie him to the structure. It was noticed that his teeth are now soft and rubbery instead of solid and hard. Now, I don't know why they did this, and I'm sure he also got some fresh coats of paint and things, but people might have been hurting themselves with the teeth. Not intentionally, but like trying to sit on it or something. So they fixed that, if that's a problem that you've had. I don't really know why they would do this, as I already stated. However, they have, so this is here now. Also, the purple and white awnings have been removed from the Barney store, and later in the week, they would be removed from the queue and entrance to the old Barney's backyard area. Finally, walls went down by the entrance of the VelociCoaster, showing us its entrance. We saw lights lining the open tunnel, palm trees framing the entrance, and single rider and general queue entrances. A third queue sign was covered in black cloth and is more than likely the express pass entrance that will more than likely not be available when the ride opens. It was also seen later in the week that the entrance got a new coat of paint. Yet again, we've seen a lot of this stuff with the previews, so obviously this isn't anything crazy now that I'm saying this after I've talked about the previews. So we're pretty far into the video, but we're not even halfway done, or actually just around that. But let's continue on and get all of these updates done with my next topic. City Walk, a newer topic that surprisingly has a lot happening each week. So this week, the Fusion Bistro on the second floor near the Cinemax, which was a quick service, has been permanently closed. Now, a new quick service store will be put here, however, the exact store that will be here has not been announced. Now, I would say that this is disappointing, however, I've never actually gone here except for getting a drink, so I don't know about the food or anything that they had here, and I know that it wasn't particularly the most popular place. However, it is gone now, and we're gonna probably see what it is in a few months, more than likely. Also, Voodoo Donuts released a new anniversary donut. It is a cake slice shaped yeast donut with cake batter filling dipped in either vanilla, strawberry, or chocolate frosting. And this thing actually looks absolutely delicious. Now, you wouldn't exactly think for a donut to look like a cake slice, however, it's been said that it's pretty good, and I am gonna take their word for it. Also this week, like in the parks, social distancing markers have been made smaller in City Walk and therefore harder to see. Now they are still 6 feet apart like in the parks, and I don't know if they've done the thing with the emblems for these. However, they're definitely smaller now, so just keep that in mind. Next up, the audio talking about COVID as a unprecedented time by the moving walkway is now removed, and the area only plays music like before the pandemic. Finally, globe decals were added to the outside of the Universal Studios store, and it actually makes it look a lot better. It makes it a more complete look, and the blue part at the top is less boring. They've been adding more and more decals to here, so it makes sense they'd add on something like this. So I said we were going to be going into some smaller topics in the beginning of this one, and we can definitely take a closer look at those in my next topic. Mardi Gras, where I actually only have one update. Now, disappointingly, this update is not the best for the event, which is that on May the 2nd, or Sunday, Mardi Gras ended. However, I think that it's about time it happened. The event was supposed to end over a month ago, and then it got extended twice, and you can't have Mardi Gras around 24/7. However, we've had it around for a good amount of time, and I think this year was pretty good. But I think we're also all ready for next year's event when the parade will be back, and hopefully they'll integrate some of the things that they did this year, like all the food, because I think that people like that a lot. So a lot of people definitely went to Mardi Gras this year. However, we can see people who probably went more than the average person with a ticket in my next topic. Universal Orlando annual pass holder news. And no, I totally did not just make a Halloween Hornets topic about a speculation map that I thought was for Orlando but was actually for Hollywood. We're not gonna talk about that. So this week, the Universal Orlando annual pass button was released into the parks. It is a Velociraptor egg, and the back reads, "It's a girl." Just because it hasn't happened in 65 million years doesn't mean it won't happen today. And that's what I'm gonna be saying for the VelociCoaster soon enough, trying to get a virtual queue for it. However, let's not rant on about this pin. It's a fun one, and I like its theming, as Jurassic World is one of my favorite franchises from Universal. But let's stop rambling on about the button and go straight into my next topic. Merchandise, where a good amount of stuff has happened in this topic this week. So this week, select Mardi Gras merchandise became 50% off, and later in the week it became 70% off. I'm not sure if these sales are gone now, but however, these were here this week. Also, a new Let Yourself Whoa t-shirt became available. Now, I believe this one is new, and I certainly have not seen it before, and if it's not, I apologize for that, but it's something new to me. Also, a new Raptor Country hoodie t-shirt became available. This is just a t-shirt that has a hood on the back of it, and it has a pretty fun design that says Raptor Country on it. Also, a new Mr. DNA and They Were Here First shirts became available. The Mr. DNA one has a Mr. DNA spin on the Jurassic World logo on its sleeve, and the They Were Here First shirt has 3 badges on it. One of them says, "Let 'em live, let 'em roam," and is sponsored by the Viral Dinosaur Conservationists of the United States of America, which is fictional, by the way. Another says Dinosaur Observation Committee and is wrapped around the skeleton from the Jurassic Park logo. And the final one is a Raptor Chaser badge that also says Pursue, Protect, Preserve. More shirts like these became available later in the week, with a Mr. DNA shirt that has Mr. DNA wrapped around the Jurassic Park logo, and on the back has key retro Mr. DNA with key components on how DNA is used to create dinosaurs on it. Another Mr. DNA shirt became available that has the retro DNA logo on the front and says in the bottom right, Jurassic Geneticists. This shirt's logo has more in-depth picture explanation of how the dinosaurs are brought back to life in the movies. Also, a Jurassic World tropical long sleeve shirt joined these. It features a Jurassic World logo, slash mark, and the words Jurassic World on the sleeve. On the back, it has a scene of the Tyrannosaurus running from an erupting volcano that I can only assume would be from the Fallen Kingdom. If this were referencing one of the films, of course. Also, a tee with the same logo but on the front and yellow is also available. This one has a slash mark on the bottom right. Now, a cuffed tank top also became available that has the same logo, just wider on it. And a similarly themed crop top is now sold that says Jurassic World, and it has flowers behind it, and it has the Jurassic World logo in the bottom corner. Finally, a tote bag with the same logo as the tank top was also added. So that's everything that I could find in Universal Studios Orlando this week. I hope you enjoyed VelociCoaster, 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 VelociCoaster. Now wait, what the heck just happened? I'm just gonna act like that didn't happen and go ahead and say thank you so much for watching, and this is Wuno signing off.